Alright, so today we are playing Bloody Burn in Pioneer again. This is the most recent 5.0 list. It's definitely more of an interesting deck, and I kind of like what they're going for. It has a bigger use of the actual discard effect off of the blood tokens, and the fact that you're getting to play Alms of the Vein, Fiery Temper, and Falkenrath Gorger gives all of your other vampires the ability to have I can't remember what the ability is called, but where you can discard them and cast them. Madness. Thank you. That's what it's called. Okay. Also, for the first time today, I'm streaming with OBS instead of Twitch Studio. I'm pretty excited about it. I watched a couple of videos on how to set it all up, and it's pretty sweet. I'm a pretty big fan of it so far. But the list isn't that different. Alms of the Vein, Fiery Temper, and there's more of a... it's definitely a different creature base than we were running last time. So I completely pulled this off of the 5.0 list. There are some things that I don't like about it, but we'll see how that pans out. I'm not a huge fan of the Mana Confluence. I don't know if that's necessary. The Voldaren Estate is something that we'll have to see how that plays out. We're playing an aggro deck. I don't know how I feel about Thoughtseize in this deck either, but I'm open to try it. Self-Inflicted Wound is a sweet card that I really like. I like that they're on 3 Searing Blood and 3 Vortex. That feels like a good mixture of those cards. 2 Cemetery Gatekeeper. Feels like in the right matchup that can be a good card, and a third copy of Unlicensed Disintegration. I think I like having 2 copies of that better in the sideboard, but we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of interested to play this and see what happens. So. Wow, that was fast. We don't ever find Pioneer games that fast. And good luck. This hand seems good. Our opponent takes a mulligan to 6, and then they keep their 6. I'm going to add a... I also don't like how big that is. Sorry, I gotta try and get all this. It's like the one thing I did not do the other day. Well, now I gotta make the text red. Well. Yeah, that's fine. All right. There we go. Perfect. We'll shock in. Yeah, we'll play the Pit Fighter on turn 1 and say go here. Feels like our opponent's probably playing Mono Blue Spirits. They probably have... Curious Obsession right here. So we can't block here because they can just pump this up to a 2-3, and then there's not much we can do about it. Now they do have a few counterspell options here, so I think we're going to want to play double 1-drop here. They're out flashing a Rattle Chains. They have a few things they can really go for here. I'm not going to play our land so that he's more likely to counter this. Alright. And then having the ability to play Vampire Socialite next turn to really like pump up the team is pretty solid. So I feel like that puts us in a... Oh yeah, Christmas bopping. What's going on, Ben? How are you, buddy? I heard that Kyle finally talked you into to downloading Vanguard, which I'm pretty excited about. Pretty excited for us all to play. Alright, hang on. I want to make sure I did this the right way. Tap mana, sacrifice this blood token, get rid of that. See, this actually, knowing that we have our next land is pretty solid because that allows us to, next turn we can play Blightstep Pathway or Searstep Pathway, whichever side we deem better. Play Vampire's Kiss and play Vampire Socialite, put a counter on everybody and then get in. I'm good, and I played a game of Shipment yesterday. Got loaded into a game where my team was being rocked. How are you? Yeah, I mean, that feels pretty accurate. Like, that's not really that surprising if I'm being honest with you. And I'm doing pretty good, man. The office was closed at work today, so I'm pretty excited to kind of have a day to just hang out and stream today, so. Yeah, that's one thing me and Kyle always laugh about when we're playing Vanguard is I'm like, dude, we always laugh and talk about it, and I always say, like, you know, Shipment has not changed, like, in, like, 10 or 15 years or however long it's been. Like, Shipment is exactly how it was. Hey, Carly with Prime for 10 months. Thank you. If he has a counterspell, he'll probably play it here. Nope. We're just going to say go here. Our opponent didn't attack, which means we're under no pressure, really. Like, they could play a couple of Lords here and kind of put some pressure on us, but they did miss a land drop last turn. Alright, they filled into the Faceless Haven, which is pretty solid. Attacking for 1. Okay. Fiery Temper would be sweet here. Huh. Alright. Let's play the Statuette. If they counter this, we'll just slam the Vampire's Kiss here. I'm going to go ahead and cast the Vampire's Kiss because I really don't want to discard the Vampire's Kiss. That does represent a 4-point life swing here, so... I'm also not going to attack here because they can just... Like, they basically just get to block our 2 Pit Fighters here. They go to 7, and then we're left with a lot of nothing, honestly, so... It's a 4-4 with flying. Are you playing Vampires? Yeah, I guess this is like a... It's not really like Vampires, but it does have like a sub-theme of Vampires, yeah. Are you going to ask me to say it? I assume that's what you're getting at here. Our opponent says go again. It costs 4 to turn Ascendant Spirit. Okay. Sack a blood token. I am going to turn this into a 3-3 here. Say it. I want to suck your blood. I hope you're happy. I imagine our opponent has some counter magic in their hand here. Yeah, we're going to turn this into a 3-3. See if Shrapnel Blast resolves here. Don't do that ever again. Sorry, Ben. She wins, buddy. I imagine my opponent's going to animate Faceless Haven here, if I had to guess. I mean, they could have some things that could blow us out. I was like, Fading Hope's kind of a blowout, but... So, he puts the Ascendant Spirit in front of the Statuette, puts the Faceless Haven in front of a Falkenrath Pit Fighter, and then puts Mausoleum Wonder in front of a Pit Fighter and goes to 2. Now, we're kind of looking for a burn spell here. Now, the good news is that we do have some blood tokens, so... that's a pretty good card in this deck. So they get to just crash in for 4 here. Yes, that made my workday much better. I'm glad that it did, baby. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Wait a second. So I can discard this and leave up for Spell Pierce. Madness. Alright, well that was pretty sweet. Drawing into that was pretty good. Our opponent may not have had anything there, but felt pretty good nonetheless. We want Searing Blood. We want Unlicensed Disintegration. I feel like this is a removal-heavy matchup. Not so much really that we want to like bring in Thoughtseize or anything like that. Like maybe there's some logic to bringing in Thoughtseize here, but it doesn't seem very. I don't know. Instinctually, I don't like that. We want Bloodtithe Harvester here. The Statuette's good. Maybe we're just cutting Falkenrath Gorgers, because I feel like Pit Fighter having the ability to... like have small amount of card advantage for us is not bad, or maybe not card advantage, but card, I guess, like card filtering more like. I didn't want to say card selection because it's not. It's more like card filtering. Yeah, Vampire's Kiss is good. The Statuette's a 3/3 that you can use when it's convenient for you. Yeah, let's run it. Let's try this and see what happens. We're on the draw, so less 1-drops is probably better. Yeah, I like this. We have the Pit Fighter, and then we have Searing Blood and Fire Temper as removal spells, and Socialite's also a good way to turn the clock on, so... Plus our opponent's on a mulligan to 6. But we're going to draw a land that was probably the best one we could draw. Then the Bugbear is really good. Now the problem is here... is that if they have a land, they kind of just get to attack for free, because if we block, we're just out a creature here. Okay. Alright, we're going to attack for 2 and see what happens here. Alright, I'm just going to hold up Searing Blood and say go. This feels really good. This kind of puts us in the driver's seat, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, they could have some things here that could help them get out of this, but... Look, if you all like Vampire Roleplay, that's cool. I just wasn't ready for it at 10:30. Oh, man. Thomas, thanks for the follow, buddy. I appreciate you stopping by this morning. It's like a discard outlet would have been ideal there. Yeah, we don't really have a discard outlet, so we're just going to have to go upstairs with this. Not upstairs. They also missed a land drop that turn, so it means they have 4 cards of just straight gasoline. Drawing a land there was also pretty sweet because it guarantees that we have enough lands for Den of the Bugbear if we need it. We're going to attack for 2 here. Play Vampire Socialite. Hey, what's going on, Thomas? How are you, buddy? I'm actually going to play the Pathway here in case they try to kill one of my creatures. Alright, so they draw into a third land. Alright. I mean, there's nothing we can do about the Curious Obsession here. I mean, we do have 5 points on the board, and if we feel like we need to, we can always just fire up the Den of the Bugbear here. That's also not bad. We're just going to start by attacking for 5 here. I like having the Den of the Bugbear next turn, considering we drew into Searing Blood here. Which one are you targeting, buddy? Targeting that one? I'm not going to lie, I think the Searing Blood here might have just kind of locked up the game. That puts them to 8. Oh, it did lock up the game here because they're going to go to 3. And then we're going to cast Fiery Temper for lethal. Alright, well, that was a pretty good first match. Good. How's this Christmas Eve going on? Hey, I mean, it's not bad. The office was closed today, so we're streaming most of the day, so I'm pretty excited about that, I won't lie. How's your day going, Thomas? What are you up to? You working? You off work today? What's going on, man? Well, 1-0 start was pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like we kind of got a good matchup in what we draw in, and what we drew into. So let's see here. I gotta finish this text message really quick. School's off till January because Christmas holidays. So, what streamers stream Magic? Okay, gotcha. Well, cool, man. I'm glad that you're enjoying your break off here. And good luck. It's honestly one more land than I would like to have, but I think we can try this one. I think having a couple of aggressive creatures here to start with is pretty solid. Our opponent keeps 7, and also I'm going to lead on the Pit Fighter here and say go. Temple of Mystery. Okay, so we're playing against the combo deck. Alright, so we're going to attack for 2 here. Play the other Pit Fighter. There wasn't a way that we could play Den of the Bugbear and play Vampire's Kiss on turn 2 with our land setup, so... Alright, so we put our opponent to 12 here. Next turn, we can put them to 8 with the creatures, and then Shrapnel Blast and Fiery Temper are lethal, if I'm not mistaken. Our Boreal Grazer does hurt a little bit because it does block. Of course, our opponent might just be able to go off here. That's kind of the annoying thing about playing against this deck. Are those vampire emojis? Oh my gosh. Of course you found them. Of course you found them. Alright. Alright, so we put them to 10. Yeah, we just, unfortunately, we're not in a spot where we can do it all here. Alright, so we're going to say go. If our opponent gets into a weird spot where they have to shock in a land, we can kill them. So, we're going to hold on to that. I mean, we're more than likely dead here. Thoughtseize will be good in this matchup. I worry if Thoughtseize is good enough or not. Normally taking one card from this deck's hand is just not enough. Cemetery Gatekeeper will be pretty good. Turn Shimmer a possibility. Hidden String, Shimmer possibility, 3 unknown cards in hand. Okay. We know nothing now. Now, they're in a pretty good spot here, so I mean, they could definitely, like, I mean, like, again, there's a solid chance we're dead here. We had them on turn 5 and not turn 4, so, like, are we drawing anything as an out here? Like, I don't think there's anything we draw there. Okay, you have 3 Lotus Fields now. I don't know a ton about this Lotus Field deck other than the fact that I don't think there's a big difference between 2 and 3. Like, maybe I'm terribly wrong there, but, like, Hidden Strings only untaps 2. So I don't think there's a big difference between 2 and 3. I know that the Arboreal Grazer kept them from dying last turn. I do know that. So that's their play, so they're dead here. Because they can't do anything else, which means they're dead, because we're going to Shrapnel Blast them. We're going to discard the Fiery Temper, cast it with Madness, and then Shrapnel Blast with the other token. And then next turn we have the ability to just cast Alms of the Vein for 3. Didn't figure there was a big chance we were winning this matchup, so it kind of feels nice to get away with this one. Cast Fiery Temper, then we get the draw card. Put you to 2, cast Alms of the Vein next turn. They already know about Vampire's Kiss, so I don't want to show them Alms of the Vein. If they don't have to know about it, we don't want to give them any more information than we have to. Let's see here. Vortex will be good. We don't want... I don't think we want Disintegration here. I think the Harvester might be too slow. And the question is, do we want the 2 Gatekeepers? And if so, what are we cutting? No, I don't think we want to dilute our plan any more than we have to. I think Vortexes and Thoughtseize could probably be enough to push us over the top here. So I like this hand, but the pathway into Dragonskull Summit is kind of tough. Plus, we don't have any hate cards. I think we got a mulligan here. Man. So we can cast a lot of the vampire spells in our hand. We keep this and put the statuette on the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough hand to keep, but at the same time, like, I don't know if we're going to win this game on 5 cards. Play Epicure, say go. We can also use our blood tokens here that we're generating to help us try to find more lands. Hopefully we just peel into like a black source right here. Yeah, I think we have to. Well, that's probably game. But we had to try and find a land there, I think. I think that's the correct play. Alright, Fae of Wishes is pretty good. Alright, we're going to concede. We're not going to win this game. Unfortunately, our hand just kind of didn't work out there for us. Like, our 7 was... I don't know, maybe we're supposed to keep our 7. I just don't feel like that 7's going to win the game. And our 6 was a little greedy of a keep, but... I think we're just going to run it back. I don't really know if that one of Voldaren Estate's worth it. I wonder if that wouldn't be better served as like a, I don't know, some different land. I'm not sure which one, but like again, we don't have any like actual, we don't have any hate cards here, but we have three untapped lands and we have good pressure here. We'll just 6 through our opponent's turn here. I'm going to cast it now. I don't know if this is correct, but if they have a Sylvan Scrying, I just want to take that. We'll only leave 1 copy of that there. And then we'll play the Gorger here. It puts on more pressure. And then next turn we can play Epicure, and we can use Shimmer Possibility off of the coast. Being able to Shrapnel Blast the blood token here will be pretty sweet next turn. Gives us pretty aggressive clock here. We put our opponent to 14 next turn. Epicure puts them to 13. Shrapnel Blast can put them to 8. So Thoughtseize was a very timely draw step. Alright, our opponent plays Thespian Stage, so that's got to be somewhat good for us. Put them to 8 and they take 3, go to 5. I don't know what's better here. I don't know. Let's go after him. Let's go upstairs. Well, drawing into another land wasn't exactly what I had in mind. our opponent takes 3. They're down to 5. They don't really have a way to get their game plan going here, but we are out of gas. We can put our opponent to 3 here. I think our opponent being at 3 gives us more outs here, so I like the idea of that. I am going to hold on to the land here, just in case we happen to... I don't know, just in case we happen to like draw into another Epicure here. It gives us the ability to discard the land. Okay. Alright, well, we might not get another turn. Emergent Ultimatum, 3 unknown cards in hand, so they could, I mean, like, they could have pour over the pages here. Would be really good. Yeah, our opponent could have lots of outs here. Plus, I was trying to see even on the casual servers to see someone wanting. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, Thomas. Sorry, I'm a little confused by your sentence. Oh, trying to find somebody to play Paper Magic with? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, finding somebody to play Paper Magic with nowadays is tough, man. At least, I mean, like, I only have a couple of buddies that really play Paper right now. Like, it's tough for me to find somebody to play Paper Magic with anyway. Okay. Lots of outs here. That is not one of them. Alright, well. We're probably just... I imagine we're dead here because of the Emergent Ultimatum. Still going to hold on to the land here. See no reason to play it or do anything. You know, as weird as it is, I honestly would have even been okay with drawing a Thoughtseize off the top right there. Because we put our opponent to 2, and then we have a Thoughtseize to take. Yeah, dang. Okay. Well, yeah, we're dead here. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we're super dead here. Well, I'm not going to play this one out. So, let's see. If we draw an Epicure last turn, we play Epicure. So we attack, put them to 2, put them to 1, and then draw into Vortex to kill them. That would have been pretty good. But, you know, oh well. Can't win them all. It was a close match. I think our second hand kind of got the best of us, honestly, there. Like, the fact that we just... Like, we didn't really get to play a second game. They got a free win out of us in our second game, so that was tough. 1-1's not bad though. It's not a bad start though. I mean, I guess we did get like kind of a. We got kind of. I don't want to say a free match, but our cards lined up really well round 1 for us against the mono blue spirits deck. Yeah, we're going to keep this. This hand's really good. Bloodtithe Harvester is also doubles as a removal spell if we need it to, but that does not matter because we are playing against... We are playing against blue-white control. At least I assume it is. I don't know many decks that play Castle Ventress that aren't blue-white control and Pioneer, so... So we're going to attack for 2 here. Play a Vampire Socialite. Give everybody a counter, and by everybody I mean that guy. And then next turn we can... Hopefully we hit a land and we can add a couple things to the board here. Our opponent takes 5. We're going to tap out for Bloodtithe Harvester. If they have a Supreme Verdict, they probably don't counter this spell. Jawari Disruption? No, we can't pay the 1, so we'll say go. I mean, maybe they use their Jawari Disruption there because they know they can get value out of it. Alright, so no Supreme Verdict. Let's get in the red zone here. Does this settle the wreckage? Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that trading there, but trading with the Shark, with the Pit Fighter. Our opponent goes to 11 here, and then we get to... We get to play a couple of dorks here. So we're still putting quite a bit of pressure on the board here. And if we need to, we can use the blood token to discard something and draw into some more cards here if we really need to. If we feel like that our hand's not that good, we need to see some more cards. Shrapnel Blast is pretty sweet here. Like, maybe they have settled the wreckage. I don't know. Or maybe they don't. Let's go for Pit Fighter here, and if they go for a counterspell... Ooh, they don't. Okay, we're just going to say go here. Shrapnel Blast. Alright, sweet. That worked out pretty well for us. Our opponent tapped out, and we get to use Shrapnel Blast for lethal. Vortex is good here. Thoughtseize is good here. Let's see. Cards that do not look that hot here. The Statuette is good because it plays around Supreme Verdict, so I like that card in this matchup. Unlicensed Disintegration, like, is good when they're gonna like cycle in a Shark randomly, but I think we honestly might even be in a better spot to just hold up a Fiery Temper activation, or yeah, like something like that, and try to play around it that way. I don't know. Putting on the pressure with Gorger here is pretty solid. The Harvester's probably the worst 2-drop here in the deck. or in the Bloodtithe Harvester, not in the deck, but in this matchup anyway. Bring in Thoughtseizes and Vortex and just try to put on pressure. This deck felt pretty fun, honestly. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty surprised because I thought this deck was going to be pretty mediocre. I really like this hand. I think we're going to keep it. I just hate, I hate that we're having to choose between red or black here. Red lets us cast the Statuette. Like the Voldaren Estate allows us to cast the Gorger and the Socialite here. But, I don't know, like, just kind of hoping we peel into a mountain or a swamp or like an Urborg or something here. Mana Confluence does help with our problems. Alright, we're going to run out Falkenrath Gorger and say go. I don't like to Thoughtseize on turn 1. It's just a personal thing that I'm not a huge fan of. I played mono black aggro and Pioneer quite a few times, and I feel like Thoughtseizing on turn 1 is worse than just playing a threat. Playing a threat on turn 1 and then probably playing a threat on turn 2 and then following that up with a Thoughtseize and a spell on turn 3 is pretty solid. So get in for 2 here. We're going to probably run this into a Censor here. Or a Jawari Disruption. Some like, Censor effect. Yep. So now this is really good because we've set ourselves up with a turn where we can go Mana Confluence, or if we peel a different black land next turn. Okay. So that we can Thoughtseize them, and then we can play Vortex. I think we have to take Dig Through Time here. And just try to play around. Yeah, and just try to play around some of the stuff that we're doing here. Not really in a spot where we can tack. Sunset Revelry is, like, probably the best card in this matchup for them. Curious to see if our opponent actually attacks us here, because there's some argument to them attacking here, trying to get aggressive. I played the Blast Zone, so they have Supreme Verdict, Ether Gust, and Unknown card in hand. We're going to run out the Statuette here and see what happens. Ether Gust. Yeah, we'll put that on top. Play Falkenrath Pit Fighter, and we'll say go. And then next turn, we'll have the ability to play Vampire's Kiss and the Statuette. Yeah, I'm willing to go to 14 here. Let the Vortex put us to 13. Vampire's Kiss kind of helps us out with that. Shocking Hollowed Fountain. Are you going to play Teferi here? Baneslayer Angel. Okay. I have to say I didn't see that one coming. So we definitely want Unlicensed Disintegration post board for that at least. I don't think we really have a way out of this one here, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think I'm just going to concede here. Like, Vortex is good, but I don't think there's any playing around that. Alright, so if we're trying to play around, we're trying to use a couple of the Unlicensed Disintegrations. What are we cutting if that's the case? Because I don't really want to cut any aggro threats. Like, are we cutting to Alms of the Vein? Alms of the Vein is a very good burn spell, and I like having the reach, but I think having the creatures is better. Yeah, let's try it like that. I think having Disintegration as backup here is a pretty good plan. Well, we cannot keep this hand. The swamp kind of forbids it. Put the Disintegration on the bottom. We'll play Pit Fighter, and the next turn we'll play Vampire Socialite. So we have a pretty strong curve here, and then we can run out the Vortex. Put a counter on the Pit Fighter. Gonna cast Cycle Censor. I thought for a while that they were playing like Consider or Opt. I think Blue-White Control was playing Consider for the idea of playing around. I like the idea of running this out here because it makes a token. Discard Vampire's Kiss. Yep, draw a card. Draw into Vampire's Kiss. I mean, this is 8 points here if they don't have like a Seal Away or something here. Aether Gust is also pretty solid. I mean, they have a few good options here that they can play. So they put the statuette on top of our library. Okay. Honestly, that's okay. They still take 5 and go to 13 here. I'm not going to play anything. I'm not letting them use their Absorb here. Like, not a super high chance that they have a card here that they're going to play post-combat. Like, maybe they do. Like, maybe they have a Consider or something here, but I'm not letting them play their Absorb. Like, I once read this article on Star City Games, and I can't remember who wrote it to save my life right now, and it was an article, and it was talking about how the best way to beat Absorb is to just not cast spells. Like, especially when you have a board presence already. Like, if they want to cast Supreme Verdict here and tap out, that's fine. I'm okay with them tapping out for Supreme Verdict here. We had to take... We took an entire turn off last turn, but we know that we get to resolve spells this way. Alright, we're going to put our opponent to 7 here. Slowly but surely, we're grinding them out, and then the Vampire's Kiss will... Those will help us get there. Being able to hold up Vortex the rest of the game is pretty important from here. The next turn or two is probably going to decide who wins this game, honestly. Like, we're kind of at a tipping point in the game where it's like, okay, like, somebody's going to win or lose from this spot here. They consider to the top, play irrigated farmland. And then say go. We go to 16. Alright, that puts our opponent to 5 here. They're going to go to 4 off of... They're going to go to 4 off the Vortex. I'm going to get to hold up an activation here. Like, something bad could happen here, but I'm not going to lie, this feels like we're in a pretty decent spot. Because if our opponent taps out for something here, and then we have, if we draw into an untapped land, we have Vampire's Kiss into activate blood token, discard Fiery Temper, cast it for lethal. So if they tap out, we do have lethal effect here, but... Teferi, okay. I wouldn't exactly... I mean, Teferi does, like, they are literally tapping out here, but they're not really tapping out. Because they could have Veto here, they could have Ether Gust, they could have Negate. Like, there's lots of cards they could have here. Cast Vampire's Kiss. Alright. We could have tapped out for the Epicure there and tried to get our opponent with the Epicure and the Vortex trigger, but I don't think that's worth it. Because if they have a Censor effect and then they go into their turn with a Sunset Revelry, we're up a creek without a paddle pretty bad, so... So the good news here is that Epicure is lethal, and then if they have a response to that, we can activate a blood token. Activate a blood token and cast Fiery Temper. This feels like Absorb. Alright. Feels like they have like a negate, a censor, I don't know, something here. Kind of hoping that we're just getting away with one here. Feels not super likely, but... Because if they have a counter spell, then... They're going to 4 and we have no pressure on the board, so... And they have an active Teferi, which is pretty tough to play around. Oh, wow, they didn't have it. Alright, color me surprised there. I have to say that. Like, I kind of figured they were going to get out of that one. Well, that makes us 2-1 with the old Rakdos Vampires Bloody Burn style thing. This feels more like Rakdos Vampires with a blood token synergy than it does an actual burn deck. Which I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice. I've enjoyed playing this deck so far. I'm honestly not a huge fan of playing Thoughtseize in the sideboard of like these red aggro style decks. Like you can in like standard and like less powerful formats in my opinion, but it's hard to do that in I don't know, in Pioneer and some stuff like that. So um yeah, we'll try this and see what happens. We have a couple of good 1-drops here to play. And the Voldaren Estate does, like, we do have, like, 2 lands. We can cast, like, Shrapnel Blast and things like that. We just... Our opponent mulligans here. That's good for us. What's the highest player count in one game you played in? I'm not sure what you mean. What's the highest player count in one game I played in? Like, in a single match of Magic? Like, what's the highest player count? Are you talking about like in a tournament? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. Drawing Vampire Socialite is really good. Alright, well. Play Socialite in to put a counter on our Pit Fighter, and then that also... Hopefully we just peel into like a black source here. Gives us the ability to play Vampire's Kiss and Falkenrath Gorger next turn. Supreme Phantom, okay. Well, they can block our Pit Fighter if they want, but they're going to lose their Supreme Phantom, so that's their play here. I'm kind of okay with that. This enters as a 3-2. We take a life, put Epicure into play as a 2-2. Yeah, I played a game with about 100 to 120 players in one game. That's absolutely insanity. More power to you, my friend. Honestly, I tip my hat to you there because that's just impressive. So is it better to Shrapnel Blast? I think the most people that's ever been in a game that I've ever played is probably like 4 or 5. I think I played a Commander game one time with like 5 people. So that's nothing crazy. Not like 100 to 120, that's for sure. So if we just send in with the clowns here... And if we send in with the clowns here, they're not in a super great spot. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. We'll put our opponent to 2 here, which leaves us in a pretty good spot considering we have a menace creature on the field. Waiting 10 minutes for every one turn one time. Yeah, no, that's the one thing I don't like about Commander is that turns take forever. Like, it's just not fun, like, having to wait and watch everybody else play, so I understand your pain there. Alright, Searing Blood, and we took out the 4 Falkenrath Gorgers last time we played this matchup. And I mean, it worked out pretty well for us last time. Granted, we had some pretty, like, timely draw steps, but still pretty good, so... I still like bringing in our 4 removal spells here. But yes, I could not agree more. Waiting 10 minutes for everybody's turn in Commander is like the worst part of like playing Commander and like those like bigger table formats. I think that's part of the reason that I have been like such a like competitively focused player. Like I like to play like one-on-one, like modern, standard, you know, historic pioneer, like more of a competitive Magic player. I think this hand's really good. I think we keep this and put that on the bottom. Really wish we had like a Searing Blood or a Disintegration here, but hopefully we peel into a couple of things. Our opponent didn't have the Ascended Spirit. They could still flash in the Mausoleum, not Mausoleum Wonder, that doesn't have flash, I can't remember what it's called right now. That, Spectral Sailor, thank you, there it is. Okay. Our opponent attacks, puts us to 17. And then plays Cerulean Drake. Protection from red is pretty good here. Alright, so I'm going to play the Harvester. We're not going to attack. And then next turn we have Disintegration at the ready if we need it, which is pretty good. Let's see here. What are we looking for? What are we doing? Yeah, I didn't think you could target it because it comes from that. I think we'll just say go here. There's not really much value in attacking here. The Cerulean Drake's kind of holding us back. If we had another creature, then we would be able to attack in and just kind of force our opponent to block something here. Our opponent might have Spell Pierce here, but we're just going to go for the Disintegration. Keep the threats off the board. Yep, Spell Pierce is a blowout. We're in a pretty bad spot here. Like, this is, like, winning this game will be pretty tough from here. In fact, if we win this game, I'd be kind of surprised. It means our opponent either, like, floods out pretty hard and doesn't really have the ability to do anything, or, like, we just draw really well the rest of the game. Okay. Our opponent's a very patient Magic player, which I really appreciate, honestly, but... Alright, we're going to cast the Madness. We are going to cast it. We are going to attempt to go upstairs, because if we hit a land here, we can play the Socialite. So Fiery Temper resolves. We hit a land, hopefully. We play Socialite. We pump up the team, and then we get in with everybody. Now, granted, this is all playing, like, banking around the fact that they don't have a counterspell, but at this point, we don't have much of an option. Okay. Still okay, because it still pumps up the team. Next turn, we can try to put some distance between us with Vampire's Kiss and Shrapnel Blast. Being able to Vampire's Kiss to put us back, yeah, put us back to 7. We really need this to resolve. I was like, if this doesn't resolve, we're in a pretty bad spot. Alright, let's go ahead and kill it now. Just another counterspell. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. Most of, like, a lot of their deck is counterspells. Is like these reactionary cards. Another Rattle Chains would also do it. Oh, you can only activate as a sorcery. That sucks. So now they just have 8 points on the board, so we're just dead. Okay. Alright, well, we didn't really see, like, the only removal spot. Like, we saw some removal spells, but the Cerulean Drake was just really good there. I mean, truth be told, we don't really have a way to deal with the Cerulean Drake, so we kind of just have to hope that we can draw enough burn to get around it, or that we can... Yeah, I don't know. Like, we just kind of have to hope that we can, like, play around it. Like, whether we have enough creatures to go around it, or whether we have enough burn spells to just play over the top of it with some reach, so... I don't feel like this is a bad matchup for us, though. All right. Well, part of me would like to keep this hand because I'm very greedy, but I just don't think we can. I like the idea of keeping that hand. I think us mulliganing, I think like if both of us mulligan here, I think we have better mulligans than our opponent. So being able to attack here on turn 1 is pretty big, because we're just going to attack through the Mausoleum Wanderer and then play the Harvester. Drawing a 3rd land is pretty good. I'm curious to know if our opponent will block here. Mausoleum Wanderer can have a lot of value, so... Alright, play the Harvester, make a blood token, say go. Discard Fiery Temper, Madness. Pay a red. Draw a card. Voldaren Epicure was a pretty sweet draw there. Really allows us to still play aggressive. Plus, it gives us another madness. It gives us another way to madness our Alms of the Vein. I don't think our opponent would have been willing to trade their Shacklegeist for the Harvester there, but that's not a chance I'm willing to take. So that stays tapped. Okay. Searing Blood off the top. Discard Alms of the Vein. Get the Alms of our opponent here, put them to 13, we go to 21. I like being able to... I like being able to put some more padding between our life totals here. Pump up the jam, and then attack in for 2 here. Now, if our opponent blocks, like, I'm okay with that. That's a very good card for this deck, man. Dream Shackle Geist, and it's a spirit. Alright. So basically they get to leave that tapped, and then they can tap down something else if they need to. It's a very good draw step here. Okay. I mean, them doing that is fine because it means we just get to attack for 2 here. Alright, our opponent taps out. We get to Searing Blood to Shackle Geist, which is sweet. That puts our opponent to 6, and then they get to flash in Rattle Chains. Now it means that their entire deck has flash now. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Mausoleum Wanderer. And another Geist. Okay, that's pretty solid. So they get to keep... They get to keep the Harvester and our Socialite tap down, and then they get to have Wanderer back. Well, they get to have they can have a couple things back to block. Oh, they're leaving the Epicure blocked. Interesting. Tap down. That's interesting. Okay. Vampire's Kiss was not bad, honestly. Alright, we're going to attack. We're getting to trade 2 for 1 here, so... Or they're going to 4. Either way. Yeah, it's an illegal block, buddy. Has Menace. Alright, cool. Getting to trade 2 for 1 here is pretty solid. We're going to cast Vampire's Kiss and say go. Now, even if we rip into a bad draw, we have blood tokens to try and help get us out of this. Shrapnel Blast would be awesome. Unlicensed Disintegration would be great. Now, the problem here is that we have to draw something in a hurry because they are getting to keep our creatures tapped down and just attack for 6 every turn. So... Alright, big draw step. See, this is really good because we're continuing our game plan here. And we're going to get to draw a card off of this. That's insane value. Insane. Well, we're going to play the Harvester here. It makes an extra blood token, and it's another threat that they have to deal with. We've cast Alms of the Vein twice and Vampire's Kiss 1 time, which means we basically started the game at 28. So, I mean, you take away 8 life, we're at 9. Like, we're in a pretty dangerous spot here. Like a Lord kills us off the top. God, that Dream Shackle Geist is so good. They're just getting to leave our board tap down here. Wow, that's really good. I don't know what they could have here that could cause us problems, but I don't think there's anything, honestly. because they're just throwing this in front to stay alive. And then, like, they'd have to have, like, a hard counterspell if they have Lofty Denial. Like, yeah. Okay. Alright, well, we end up winning that one. That was a pretty tight match. It was definitely a lot closer than our first match against the Mono Blue Spirits deck was, so that makes us 3-1. Pretty good league here so far. I'd like to finish with a 4-1. This deck actually feels like pretty solid, I won't lie. Would really like to know what our opponent want, or what the person that made this deck, what they want Self-Inflicted Wound for. Like, maybe they want it for Winota. I'm not sure. Like, that would be a good matchup. Sorry, I gotta finish this text message here before we play this game. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Alright, here we go. Alright, this is for the 4-1 here. As much as I'd like to keep this hand, I think a one-lander on the play is too greedy. I think we can keep this hand. Our opponent also mulligans and put back the estate. The Urborg turns both sides of our pathway into dual lands here, so we're gonna keep this the way we have it. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I just almost F6 through my turn without even thinking about it. That was dumb. Alright, I'm glad I didn't do that. Oh, okay. Alright, so we play Mountain and say go. We're playing against blue-white control again. Alright, let's play the Harvester. Getting the Harvester down is pretty solid. Alright, so it's a little more of an aggressive play here to play the Epicure. We are walking into a sensor effect here by trying to pump up our team, but it does allow for a more aggressive line. And I feel like I would really like to be able to get under Supreme Verdict if I can. And this is probably our best option here. Okay, Fateful Absence is pretty good. It wasn't a complete waste because we did add some good stuff to the board that turn. Alright, so we're going to attack for 4 here. Making a 1/1 shark. Okay, so our opponent needs to find something to do here. They're going to throw this in front of our Epicure. Nobody reads this card. Nobody reads that this card has menace, so Not that I can blame them. I mean, it's a new card. Like, people that are playing Pioneer probably don't play a ton of Standard. And then I'm going to run out the Statuette here. I want to put something onto the field here that plays around Supreme Verdict. Because we have 6 points on the board if they don't have a Supreme Verdict. And it's a good opportunity to resolve our Statuette if they don't. Ooh, they don't have Supreme Verdict. Okay, that's pretty good for us. Discard Harvester here. Yep, we're going to turn this into a 3/3. Draw a card. Whew. Whew. Shrapnel Blast is drawing hot. 3, 5, 7, 9. Wow, okay. Well, I'm not playing into their Absorb that they just left up there. Let's see what our opponent does with the Fairy. They're probably going to minus here. Okay, hang on. I've got to start going through all the steps the correct way with this card on Moto. I always click like thinking I can click through it faster than I can, but I can't. Well, our opponent not having Supreme Verdict there was pretty solid. Alright, Vortex. Last time we played against Blue-White Control, we were able to get around... we were honestly just kind of able to play around... to like use to use Roiling Vortex to help us just like play around their life gain, and it worked out pretty well for us. We'll take out the Disintegrations again. I don't think we want them on the draw. I think we'd rather just have Thoughtseize and Vortex. Last game we played, we said that was an easy cut, and obviously that wasn't correct. We were in a decent spot. We weren't like in a great spot, but we were in like a 50-50 spot where we could have won the game until our opponent played a Baneslayer Angel, and then we were just kind of done for. So I think it's better to keep that in mind this game. But I don't think we want Disintegration when we're up a game. I think that's more of we want a 1 or 2 of in to help us close out the game. This hand's really good, especially with our opponent of a mulligan to 6. Yep, our opponent mulligans to 6. They could have went down further, but they didn't, so lead on Deserted Beach. Play Falkenrath Gorger. I like that this deck has 12 1-drops, 12 1-drop creatures that are, A, they're really good at being aggressive, and B, they feel the game plan really well. So I feel like it's kind of a best of both worlds. Well, this is awesome. The fact that they've had 2 tap lands come into play means that we get to just jam the Vortex here. I'm just going to play the Mountain. I don't see a reason to shock in lands or anything yet. There's not a high chance my opponent's playing Spell Pierce, so... They consider to the top, which means they either found a good card or they were looking for a land here. Considering that their first 2 lands are coming to play tap, they were probably looking for a land if I had to guess. So I'm going to attack for 2, play Vampire Socialite. We are walking into this Fateful Absence, okay. I still want to get Socialite down because I think it's better to... I think we need a threat on the board of this matchup. That is really one of the ways that I feel like we can get behind and lose this matchup quick, is if we do not have a threat on the board to put pressure on our opponent, even if it's just, you know, like 2 to 3 points every turn. That's still chipping damage that we're getting in every turn. Okay. We go to 16. Play Statuette. I think we're just going to play the Pit Fighter and say go here. I don't really want to discard any of the cards in my hand, if I'm being honest, so... Plus, next turn, if we hit an untapped land, we can play Vampire's Kiss, then play Socialite, and then get in for 3. Big Teferi here, yeah. And Big Teferi is pretty good. Gets to draw a card, untap a couple of lands. So this is pretty solid here. We're going to discard the Socialite. Yep. I think our opponent forgot to untap their lands here. And then we draw a card. Draw into a Vampire's Kiss. Our opponent definitely just forgot to untap their lands there. We get to kill our opponent's Teferi and put our opponent to 12 here, and Supreme Verdict's not even that good of a card in this spot. So... I feel like this deck probably has a hard time against burn. Activate Roiling Vortex. We don't want our opponents gaining life here. Now the 2 bodies are pretty decent here, but that's fine. Play Den of the Bugbear. Play Vampire's Kiss. Not a super huge fan of getting rid of our other Vampire's Kiss here, but I think we need to... I don't know, I think putting pressure on the... I think just putting the pressure on with the Statuettes here is just good enough. Plus, it's not like we're just getting rid of that card for nothing. We are going to get to draw into another card here. Yep. Yep. Draw a card. I'm going to send in with the clowns here. If they have a removal spell, they have a removal spell. They're going to make a 1/1 shark here. Feels like that's what's happening. Yep. So they get to throw something in front of the Pit Fighter here and then take nothing, basically. Alright, Vortex puts you to 8. Maybe our opponent's draws have been bad during this league, or maybe our draws have been really good, but this deck has felt really solid. Like, we've just been able to hold up Vortex activations, like, the entire game. We go to 14. Yes. Yes. Roiling Vortex number 2 is not bad here. We do have the option of animating Den of the Bugbear, but I'm going to be honest. I think being too aggressive here is honestly how we lose the game. It's a big shark here. Is he making a 5/5? Our opponent takes 3, goes to 5. And then Vortex will put them to 3. The 2 Vortexes will put them to 3 here. And then next turn we have Den of the Bugbear. Yeah, we have Den of the Bugbear next turn, or we have the Statuette if we need it. I mean, we have some pretty good options either way in this spot. If our opponent attacks here, then I feel like they have to have a Settle the Wreckage here. Like, I don't know what else they could have. Let's draw off the clue. We can still leave up Vortex activation up here. Alright, cast Thoughtseize. Make it to where you can't gain life. And then we're going to say go here. Yep. Okay, I was like, because the Vortexes are just going to kill them on their upkeep. Alright, well, that was a pretty good league. I mean, we played Mono Blue Spirits twice, which we beat both times. And then we played Blue-White Control twice, which we beat both times. And then I can't remember what we lost to. We lost our second round, but I can't really remember what it was to. And it was a close one. Like it... What was that? Alright, yeah, I can't remember. But anyway... 4-1's not bad. This deck's pretty sweet. I really like it. So, at the beginning of the video, at the beginning of the league here, I said that the Mana Confluence I felt like weren't really necessary, and I felt like the Voldaren Estate was pretty weak. I stand by the Voldaren Estate here. I don't think it's a great card. Like, even as a one-of, I'm not a huge fan of it. And I think the Mana Confluence are moderately necessary here. Like, you can't really play the slow land, and you can't really play the reveal land here. You could play more Dragonskull Summits if you want to, but you're in a little bit of an awkward spot with it. So, deck has a lot of synergy, and it's very good. Definitely something I could see myself coming back and playing here, so...